What's going on, everyone? So this season really does feel, in many ways, they kind of feel it out year, figure it out year for the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, look, they want to win, they want to be a playoff team. Right? I'm not saying like fill it out, figure it out in the sense of like, oh, they're just like they don't care, right? No, I mean in the sense of like they have a lot of players that play the same position, that are going to need the same needs, that are going to be X, Y, and Z, right? You got several guys that can slot in at the 3 and the 4. You got several guys that slot in at the 2 or the 3. You got several guys slot in at the 1 or the 2, right? So the Spurs are really going to have to figure this out. Now, this is a good problem to have. It's not something where it's like, oh my goodness, right? Like, no, but you look at this team, right? Guys that stand out, at least to me personally, as potentially odd men out are Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, right? Maybe Jeremy Sohan, because, and I know a lot of Spurs fans love Jeremy Sohan, but if he doesn't develop a three-point shot, and they got guys like Carter Bryant, because you got to remember, Jeremy Sohan is going into a contract year. So they're going to have to figure out what are they going to pay him? How much does he want? Is he worth paying? Is he worth sticking around? Right? Well, this year, guess what? They're probably going to want to display him and see what can he do. Same thing with the Devin Vassell. Same thing with the Keldon Johnson. I do think if that right trade comes along, that opportunistic trade comes along, I do think the Spurs end up making that move. I do think that they'll pull the trigger on that trade. But I think unless that presents itself, I think they will be patient and kind of progress with the roster as is. Kind of see, okay, who's really standing out? Who needs more time to kind of, marinate a little bit, right? Like, is Dylan Harper just come in and kicks the door open and is absolute game busters? Okay, well, then what do we do with De'Aaron Fox? What do we do with Stephon Castle, right? Are we moving Castle to the 3? Okay, well, then what is Devin Vassell? We're going to pay Devin Vassell, $27 million or whatever it is to come off the bench, right? Like Keldon. Okay, well, what does that mean for Keldon Johnson? What does that mean for Carter Bryant? What does that mean? You start going down the list of guys. Carter Bryant, Julian Champagnie, Harrison Barnes, right? Harrison Barnes probably going to be a guy off the bench, but still, like he's one of your best shooters and kind of two-way guys on the roster. They're probably going to want to find him some minutes, but you're going to want to grow and develop Carter Bryant. Julian Champagnie, can he kind of continue to play strikes? Probably going to play some of those guys at the 4. Okay, so what does that mean for Jeremy Sohan? Okay, well, also beyond Jeremy Sohan, you have Wemby who could slot in and play the 4 alongside Luke Kornet. You have Kelly Olynyk now that can slot in and play the floor alongside Victor Wembanyama or Luke Kornet. Right? So all of these things, it's going to be Mitch Johnson's going to have his work cut out for him, right? He's going to have to figure out how to develop these guys, get these guys minutes. What is your rotation? Are you keeping minutes low? Or are you keeping minutes high? Right? Like you also get teams and agents and stuff involved, and why isn't my guy playing more? Why isn't this? Right? Like again, this could not be a smooth sailing season. It could, right? I'm not saying it won't, but you got to keep in mind, like egos have to be managed. Players have to kind of be in line, and Spurs are going to have to make some decisions sooner rather than later. Right? Again, you're going to have De'Aaron Fox getting a new contract, Jeremy Sohan, right? Then you have like Victor Wembanyama. You're going to have, Julian Champagnie, like these guys that are going to start needing contract. And then after that, it's Stephon Castle. After that, it's Dylan Harper, right? Like in the next 4 years, this team is going to be expensive. I mean, you could have potentially 4 or 5 max players on this roster, right? What if Carter Bryant becomes the guy that many believe that he can be, right? All of a sudden you have 4 or 5 max players, in 4 years. You're clearly a second. You might be one of the highest payroll teams in all of basketball at that point, right? And these are all things that the Spurs are going to have to navigate. They're going to have to figure out, okay, what are we doing with De'Aaron Fox? What are we doing with Devin Vassell? What are we doing with Keldon Johnson? Right? Are they clearly the odd men out? Right? Stephon Castle, right? We all think Stephon Castle is going to be the guy. What if he ends up becoming the odd man out? Right? What if Dylan Harper doesn't become what he's going to be? There is so much that they're going to have to navigate. Now, look, I'm somebody that believes Dylan Harper is going to be a star. I'm somebody that thinks Stephon Castle could potentially be a star. I said before the Spurs even drafted Stephon Castle that I thought Stephon Castle might be the best player in this draft. And I still believe the guy is money, right? The guy has potential, through the roof. But again, like what happens? What if Carter Bryant really emerges? What if Dylan Harper isn't your point guard? What if he actually is a better 2? Right? And then, so now what? Now, maybe you're moving Carter Bryant to the 4, but okay, what about Jeremy Sohan? What if Jeremy Sohan develops a three-point shot and becomes that guy? So what? You're gonna pay him $30 million a year, or $25 million, or $20 million a year to come off the bench? Probably not. Like that's probably not a good allocation for the salaries that you trade, right? So I do think that in a lot of ways, this is going to be, hey, let's try to make the play in. Let's try to make the playoffs, right? We're a good, young, talented team where I think a lot of guys are going to surprise a lot of people. And they're going to kind of be this team that I think is going to be on the rise. And I'm fine with, staying patient, remaining patient, and, even throughout the years, right? Like, no one says that they have to win a championship this season or next season, right? Like if you get to the first round, even if you get smoked, let's say you lose in 4, who cares, right? It's fine. That's experience that you're gaining. I mean, even OKC had to take their lumps. They didn't just go from like, oh, here's SGA, now they're winning championships. No, it took a couple years. It took some time for them to get to that point, to get to that place, right? And even then, it was rock. I mean, Denver should have beaten them. For being honest, Denver nearly did with 4 guys healthy on the roster, right? Like, and then even what happens if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get hurt, right? What happens if he ends up, being fully out? That might have been a very different series. Right? So there's a lot of factors that go into it. There's a lot of things that need to happen, period, for anybody to win a championship. Now you talk about a young Spurs team that's got to kind of navigate and figure some stuff out and kind of build into the direction that they need to build into. And so, I do think that, from coaching to executives to players to everything, this is going to be in many ways a trial and error year, right? Like I think there's going to be some minutes where hey, why isn't this guy playing 30 minutes? Right? Like, but it's like, okay, we're trying to see this guy. Right? Like, is it one of those things where it's like whoever the 7 best guys are the guys that you're playing? Okay, well, what does that mean for the guys you're developing? Right? What happens if Dylan Harper isn't one of the 7 best guys? So is that, you're playing him 15 minutes a night? It's probably not best for him. It's probably not best for the growth and development of him. Right? There's a lot of things that again could it's a lot of what ifs. I get it, but I mean that's every team in the league. Like the only kind of not what if is like the OKC Thunder, right? Because they're the team that won the championship. Everyone else is what if this, what if that, what about this, what about that, right? Like the what if narrative is for everybody, right? But I think particularly for the Spurs, it's greater than most of these teams because you want to see like what does Castle look like from year 2 or from year 1 to year 2? What does Wemby look like from year 2 to year 3? Right? How is Dylan Harper right out the gate as a rookie? Is it kind of like, ooh, he's probably going to need a year or 2? Is he somebody that's like, oh yeah, time to trade De'Aaron Fox, right? Like, De'Aaron Fox, how does he look? Does he contribute to winning? Is him and Wemby able to build that relationship? Is he able to kind of work with everyone else? Is it a little too clunky? They kind of lack 3-point shooting, right? Like, are they going to be able to hold their own on defense? Like, there's a lot of things that's just kind of, glaring and screaming out with this team. So we'll see how it all plays out. But regardless, I'm excited for it. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Now subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.